The Queer Spotlight Catwalk was organised as part of Storyhouse Queer 2025. 18 performers, models, designers took to the catwalk, showcasing their own forms of queer self-expression through clothing, fashion and performance. 10 people volunteered behind the scenes, amazing photographers, stage managers and assistants, amongst all the other amazing ways people gave their time to make this event such a huge success. Participants of this event ranged in age from 17 to 82 and represented a diverse range of backgrounds and identities. This event was made possible thanks to all of the fantastic volunteers and performers and the LGBTQIA+ community that came to support and celebrate participants.
Thank you so much for being here today. Can you introduce yourself first of all, please?
Yeah, absolutely. I am Casey Finn, otherwise known as Mr Brakedown, a drag performer, host and actor in and around Chester.
Hi everyone, my name's Debbie. My pronouns are she, her.
Hi there, my name is Rachel Widdishins. I use she, her pronouns. I'm 53, I'm from Chester and I've lived here practically all my life.
Yeah, my name's Jen Deere. I'm a drag performer from Shropshire. I'm 27 years old and I use they, them pronouns. And the name Jen Deere is a poem on gender and also the tractor brand John Deere.
And I run Dungeons and Drag Kings, which is Shropshire's first, best and only drag troupe.
Hi, my name's Sophie Carney, pronouns she, her.
Hi, my name is Stan and I live in Chester. I was born here and of course I've remained here all my life.
So my name is Ibtisam, my pronouns are he and him, and I perform on stage as Indigo Spice. I'm part of a collective of brown queer performers and my stage name with that is Indigo Spice, and my pronouns on stage are also he and him.
My name is Heather Boa. I use she, her and drag, they, them out of drag. I've been doing drag for about a year and a half. I make all of my own clothes, so this is the perfect thing for me to take part in.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm 55 years old, actually nearly 56. I have come from Rwabon, Wrexham today, and the main thing that I've been doing is my burlesque. I've been doing it for about 3 years. I was doing it in a group, but now I've been sort of going off on my own as well, doing a little bit of solo work.
First question, we'd love to know, what's your earliest memory of clothes?
My earliest memory, sort of significantly, of clothes, I think, has always been associated with costume, because I was a theatre kid through and through, right from the beginning of my life, basically. My mum put me in an all-girls tap dancing class when I was maybe about 3, and from there we were, put into costumes for different roles.
And I remember my first real experience thinking about clothes then was, oh, I hate these costumes. Every time, like furs and dresses and little hats and things like that. And it slowly drove me mad until I realised that when I was choosing my own costumes for things like parties and Halloween, I remember dressing up as Elvis Presley at about 6 years old and going, oh yeah, this is what clothes are supposed to be. This is what they're for. So all of my earliest childhood memories are either absolute revulsion or absolute euphoria, depending on the clothes I was wearing.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Blondie, Heart of Glass, the video for that, on Top of the Pops, and just the dress that she wore in that, it was like this silver flowy thing, and remember she just looked like a goddess. I was transfixed, and that's my earliest remember of like noticing someone's clothes and how it made them look incredible.
My earliest memory of clothes is to do my own clothes is all about the textures. I can't stand things that make my skin feel like it's itchy or scratchy. So my earliest memories are all about the clothes. I didn't like to wear horrible woolen tights and nasty scratchy nylon things. Even perhaps I invented a word for it when I was a little kid, so if it was whistly, I just could not wear it. That's my kind of clothes.
In terms of other people's clothes, the 70s were an awesome era for really glamorous women being all over the telly. And also glamorous female impersonators too. So lots of big hair, fancy ball gowns. Even Fanny Craddock was hooking in a ball gown in the 70s, there was all this glamour around, and I've always loved that. I've always loved a bit of leopard print, a bit of mesh, a sequin, love it all.
So I remember playing in my mum's high heels when I was younger. Me and my little sister were 2 years apart, and we were both playing with in mum's shoes, and there's photos of it. I was always very sort of dramatic as a child, and would kind of like to put on performances and, you know, be in the middle of everything. So I would love like striding into, you know, where the adults were having dinner, you know, wearing people's shoes. Actually, it wasn't always my mum. Sometimes it was like my granddad's and stuff, like big clunky shoes. And
Striding in and yeah, sort of being like, oh, look at me, aren't I funny wearing adult shoes?
I suppose I still remember before I went to school as a small child. I guess my life was spent playing as well for most of that time. I still remember those days. I don't know that they made such a mark on me really until later in life. Yes. Once I started work, I was so excited and thrilled. Yeah. But even then, the very first shirt that I bought out of school was actually a grey one, bizarrely, but very quickly followed by a pink shirt from Marks and Spencer's. And I was thrilled to bits, so I could have only been 15 or 16. And so I had a pink shirt, and I was so excited about it.
Oh gosh. So I grew up in Bangladesh, and I think my earliest memory of clothes is I was the youngest. I was the younger sibling, and my earliest memory of clothes is being made to sit down
and wear the same clothing as my brother, because my parents were suckers for matching, and being kind of made to not squirm around too much and just kind of sit there and be very quiet and try on the same clothes that my brother had on, and then they could tailor them to make sure they fit me right. So that's probably my earliest memory of clothing as clothing.
When I was a kid, I very much loved to be like tomboyish. Wore lots of, my favourite was always dungarees. So for me it was really weird when I found drag, because I've never been feminine at all. So when I found drag it was nice because it was like a little outlet for me to be a bit different from what I usually am. But yeah, my earliest memory is just me being very tomboyish. Dungarees, climbing trees, that sort of thing.
Yes. My mother had a clothes shop in Newcastle-under-Lyme, and I grew up with clothes. My mum was a model, and she had this beautiful shop, and every time I finished school, I'd go there and just go through all the clothes, look at Vogue, and yeah, that's my earliest memory was clothes.
Wow, that sounds really enchanting. That must have been amazing going through all those rails.
It was it was expensive clothes. Yeah. And yeah, my mum loved clothes.
How important is clothing to you?
I think now it's more important than ever. I mean, aside from the fact that obviously because I work in entertainment, because I work in drag and cabaret, there's a huge element of clothing and costuming being essential to the performance that you're giving, and giving you that confidence to go out on stage, giving you that wow factor that people are going to notice what you're wearing. Even for me in my everyday life as a trans man, it's a privilege to be able to wear the right clothes, to be able to express myself through clothing, and also with sort of, frankly, the miracle of HRT and hormone replacement therapy, being in the right body that fits those clothes as well. Because there's nothing better for gender euphoria than being able to go into a shop and buy the clothes that I know are intended for me and actually have them fit and fit well. It's, that feeling gets better and better month on month as I go through this journey.
Because, you know, as a trans man growing up during the time of Section 28, there was no education available to us really on the fact that trans people even existed. There's like vague awarenesses of trans women perhaps in certain elements of the media who were obviously not portrayed in a good light at all at the time, but trans men virtually invisible, with no educational access for young people to understand that identity. So the only indication I had that this might even be something that was starting in my life was the feeling I had when I was in boys' clothes. And fortunately, my parents, although they saw me as a girl and treated me as their daughter, because again, they had no education under Section 28 either, that I might be something different. They were very keen on me being comfortable in my own skin, so they let me wear whatever I want. And if I got mistaken for being a boy for most of my childhood, then that was absolutely fine.
I would say yes, like that early memory. I mean, I'm called Debbie after Debbie Harry. Literally took my name from my idol. But I love her attitude. I love how she doesn't care about what people think about her, and she just presents herself to the world authentically. And if you look at the other women that I admire, like in fashion and in popular culture, so like Madonna, another classic example, she does not give two hoots about what people think about her and stuff. And it's no coincidence two of the songs that I'm choosing to walk to today are by Madonna and Blondie. I love bright colours. I mean, yeah, I'm wearing a green top at the moment, partly because it's a zip and it's easy to get off. But yeah, I like wearing bright like pinks and stuff and floral stuff, like stuff with prints on, stuff that like, I don't necessarily follow fashion per se. I think you should have a few signature looks in your wardrobe that like say something about your personality, but I just try and wear stuff that suits my shape and style, because, you know, being a 6 foot trans woman, people stare at me anyway, so I may as well just wear something that looks good. But like, with fashion, I used to always keep stuff for best. Now I don't. Like, life's the occasion.
I love butch lesbian culture, and how it ties to sort of practicality not over aesthetics, but the aesthetics also have to link to practicality.
So it's the fact that a lot of the clothing exudes sort of power and strength, and it doesn't at all lean into the gaze of like the male gaze, and it's not at all about wanting to look a certain way for other people. For me, it's all about how the clothing serves me and how it makes me feel. And I think, having been raised as a young girl, there were often occasions where you have to wear things that you don't really want to, or it's not very comfortable. And I love, as an adult, being able to completely lean away from that and make my own fashion choices and wear clothes that I enjoy and that feel comfortable for me, rather than anything that anyone else, wants me to wear.
I've been drawn to quite a feminine look, and when I discovered this particular fashion, this Japanese street fashion, I was just like amazed at it. Like, what people wear this, and then I found that there was a community of people that got together and expressed themselves this way. And the great thing about that community was that it was very, very LGBT inclusive, and so it was a great way to express myself in the way that I felt representing myself.
Oh, it's hard to say really. In my growing spurt, I suppose, it's through to the 60s and 70s. Of course, is when everything was just sort of burgeoning, and the colour was everywhere, and the psychedelic prints, and certainly I took that on board, and I started buying colourful clothes, and they got more and more colourful.
Would you say that colour is your signature style and colourfulness? Would you say that's part of your
Yes, I've only thought about that recently, but I think that's very true. When I look back, most certainly it has. And I know things that other people have said to me, that I seem to have a lot of colour. And in fact, somebody recently had seen me or photographed me in a white shirt. Then they probably went home and photoshopped a pattern onto it because they couldn't understand why I'd got a white shirt on. But I think that's quite true pretty well all of my life.
I definitely pull a lot from my South Asian background.
What I'm wearing today and what I often wear when I'm performing is South Asian inspired clothing. So this is a kurta from back home, and it's hand dyed. The print on it is a wax print that's hand printed. I really love to showcase the kind of heritage I come from on one end, and on the other end I really love to pull from science fiction and fantasy. That was one of the first places I found a safe space to explore my sexuality, because you could imagine new worlds and you could kind of imagine new ways of being. So I like to mix very traditional South Asian clothing with capes, with hoods, sometimes with gloves. So I like to try and kind of mix those two worlds together as much as I can on stage. And with my everyday clothing, I like to wear kind of really relaxed printed tees. Anything with a nice South Asian print on it, I'm a sucker for immediately.
My inspiration for my style comes a lot from other drag artists I know or singers and stuff in the media. I love Chapel Roan. I love Lady Gaga. But I also have a lot of friends that are drag queens that I look up to. The Royal Serenity, Diesel, Darcy Delore. Yeah.
That sounds brilliant. And how do you express yourself through your clothes and through your style?
I think when I make things, I can very much put my own spin on it rather than things that I buy in places. Sometimes I even make stuff myself out of drag as well because I just like to have my own touch on things, make them how I want to wear them. Say I love a lot of pink, but I do like to do quite a lot of different styles to sort of show a few different sides of me. Like right now I'm obviously wearing like this more punky look. I just like to switch it up every now and again.
And as soon as I started doing burlesque, I love the dancing, but I love the clothes more. I love the dressing up. Love it.
When were you introduced to burlesque?
3 years, about nearly 3 years ago.
Oh,
yeah.
Brilliant. And how do you express yourself through your clothes and style?
I love colour. I love colour. I love bright colours, and obviously I've got the bright hair. I love the bright colours, and I love things that stand out.
Yeah.
Do you have different styles for different occasions?
In considering how little I cared about what clothes I wore and what impression I presented pre-transition, I'm actually not very comfortable in casual wear at all anymore. Like I even wearing like joggers and trainers and that kind of like comfortable stuff, I'm fine to wear it in the house, but when I go out, I like a nice pair of shoes, I like a good pair of jeans or a smart pair of trousers and a good shirt. I realise as I'm saying this, I've slowly turned into my father, God rest his soul, because he used to have like comfy pants for home, but if he was even going to the shop, he'd put his jeans on and a proper pair of shoes.
Yeah.
So that's clearly where I picked that habit up from. But yeah, I've been obviously working to define my own style because I was in the wrong body to be wearing these clothes before. So suddenly, now that they fit and I have the whole of menswear available to me, it's been really interesting to find my style, what makes me feel confident and comfortable.
Sometimes on stage for acting projects, I'm being costumed and told what to wear. So if I'm doing a ghost tour, I'm dressed as a Victorian gravedigger, whether I like it or not. If I'm doing, supporting acting in a film, I am dressed as a prisoner for the day, whether I like it or not. But drag is where I really get to come alive. And being a drag king, I get to play with men's fashion that isn't always what you would call the typical, frankly, kind of boring men's fashion of just like the three-piece suit, the black tie, those kind of things. They look wonderful, but it is only really one style. So being in the world of being a drag king and being able to wear sequins and sparkles and wings and things that light up and as many ridiculous hats as I can possibly store on a boat.
Yeah, I love being able to experiment. I feel like I've fallen into a bit of a glitzy Vegas sequins era at the moment with my drag, and frankly, I'm quite happy with that. I might never leave.
That sounds brilliant, yes.
I think so, yeah. I mean, obviously today I'm trying to make a bit of an effort, not now, on camera, but like when we do the fashion shoot, walk, absolutely. I try and wear something that makes me feel confident. I might appear confident. Certainly, the thing I found through my transition is like I try to probably dress younger than I am very early on in my transition, but it's like, if you are assigned female at birth and that's your gender identity, you kind of express that youthfulness and playing with the sense of who and what you are, like in your teens. I didn't get that, so going through puberty again at my early 40s, like you kind of experiment with what works and what doesn't work. And I had occasions where like people at work would go, Debs, what are you wearing? I'm like, yeah, okay. But like it's like the other day, like my partner and her other partner like said to me, we're in the pub, do you want to come down and see us? I was yeah, okay. So I wore these like really bright blue jeans, a kind of a jumper with cats on it, and like purple sparkly Dr. Martens. Saying like, you look like a toddler. But it's like, do you know what? I try and wear something that represents me and how I feel as a person, but like, yeah, without, I don't know, without being inappropriate for the setting, if that makes sense. But yeah, to go to the pub, jeans, boots and a jumper sounds right, but yeah, they said you look like a toddler.
Sounds quite joyful.
It was, yeah. I mean, I was in a joyful mood, so why not? Yeah, I'm loving it.
Thank you.
It's probably a bit more organic these days. Back in the past, when I had a job working in an office, I think there was kind of like office rules. But even then, I wore a corset and suspenders underneath. I was just like, I hate this. I hate being in this uniform. It's horrible.
Now you can just do kind of whatever you like, really.
I think, in a way, not anymore. I'm really not very good at dressing down. It's either like full tilt or nothing. But that's fine, because that's the way I like it. And different occasions, if I was going to Pride, maybe I'd wear a latex suit or something, or maybe I'd just wear that when I went out clubbing. You can just choose whatever you like, but sometimes I suppose when you're doing things with public-facing audiences, you've got to think about the way that you project yourself.
I work with a lot of young people teaching about sexual health, and so I do have to think about that when I'm going to schools, about how I'm perceived. But I also think it's really good that a professional can walk into a school with blue hair and tattoos and chonky boots and still have a really important message. And I actually think that breaks down barriers more than puts them up, especially when you're talking to younger people.
Yeah, so I mean, the most obvious instance would be that for work, there's obviously a uniform, and then there's the clothes I wear around the house, which are much more comfortable and kind of purely for me. And then I do have a genre of kind of gay going out clothes, where I only wear them when I'm going to kind of an LGBT social event or a show that's like been put on that features my queer friends, or I'm seeing like my queer friends wear, you know, it's like my holographic platform Doc Martens and my, you know, my shirt that says protect trans kids and my rainbow trousers. Like, it's stuff that I wouldn't really wear around town. It's because it's special to me. And then there's also like everyday stuff, which is normally like jeans and a long sleeve shirt and a jumper over the top of it, which is much more the sort of the function style side of it.
I do often go down to go more gothy than I am today, and so yeah, I kind of like bold colours and dark colours and yeah, contrasting colours, and I kind of always like to make a statement and kind of get certainly notice me, and I don't like to blend in. So then, if I am maybe going casual, I would still always like to make it a little bit different, and I kind of like to experiment with different colours and matching outfits together, and I'll think about what hat I'm going to wear. I wear hats quite a lot, so even the casual wear. So it's very, yeah, think about colours a lot, even in casual wear. And then if I am dressing, yeah, again, I think about that and think about my makeup and try and get the whole outfit to coordinate.
Yeah, your outfit today coordinates incredibly, from your boots to your headpiece. Yeah, it's amazing.
Contrary to like my stage presence, I am an exceptionally lazy person when it comes to getting ready on a day-to-day basis. If I'm not really doing much, if I don't have anywhere to go, if I don't have any particular commitments, like just again a t-shirt and a pair of comfy trousers will do me. But if I'm going to a specific occasion, I do like to pull out something a little bit nicer. I like wearing layers a lot, so it'll probably still just be a t-shirt, but then I'll wear a really nice shirt on top of it. If the weather calls for it, I'll maybe wear a jacket, something a little bit fancier. So for me, it's layering kind of helps me pull that in and lets me dress up or down depending on what I need to do.
Even just like through whether I'm in drag or out of drag as well, just depends on what kind of event it is. But usually, yeah, I like to switch up between casual or more dressy. So I think it's just fun. Yeah.
And how important is clothing to you?
Clothing is very important to me. I don't think there's been a day since I started drag when I haven't used my sewing machine. I love dressing up, creating things. I've done commissions for other people as well, so I love creating things for other people.
That sounds fabulous. And which of your clothes feel most like you?
I would say it depends, obviously, what kind of day I'm having. Like with being non-binary, it's very much whether I'm feeling like feminine or masculine. But I would definitely say out of drag, baggy jeans and a baggy t-shirt is definitely most me.
That must be a lot of fun being able to explore such a definite great range as well between yourself and your drag queen.
Yeah.
What does your getting ready ritual look like?
I think for a day to day I'm quite boring and I'm quite formulaic, and I realise once again that I'm going to sound like my father because he was a military man. I know what I'm going to wear tomorrow the night before, and it's laid out, it's ready. It's very rare. I don't get up in the morning and go, oh my god, what do I wear? If I don't know what I'm wearing, I won't go to sleep. I need to make sure that I know that. It's one of my idiosyncrasies to know, like what is tomorrow and how am I going to dress for it? And I feel like that always gives me confidence to go into my day because I'm consciously thinking the night before, what kind of impression do I want to make? Do I want to stand out? Do I want to blend in? Is it appropriate to stand out or to blend in? Like what's better for the situation? And also to take a kind of assessment of how I feel personally in my clothes, because no matter how wonderful and gender affirming HRT and surgery is, we are all human beings with our insecurities that we still have at the end of the day. So although I'm thrilled to be in my right body and to look the way I want to look, that doesn't mean I'm always happy with how a t-shirt fits or how many notches on my belt like I have for a particular pair of trousers that I'm trying to wear. So yeah, I like to set an intention for whatever I'm going to wear for the next day.
I think I do, but I'm also like one of the world's quickest getting ready type people because I've had a busy life and done a lot of things, and I've been in a position where I've literally had to go from office to going out to posh dinner in like half an hour. I can bish bash bosh, get the makeup on, poof the hair up, wear whatever springs to mind, and I'm out of the door. And never wear high heels, and I think that really helps because I'm all about comfort. And I've also always taken a rucksack regardless of whether I am wearing a ball gown or a pair of leggings because I like to have my hands free to do things.
And to dance.
And to dance, definitely to dance.
For most drag looks, I start with a primer that keeps the makeup on, and then I do the base shade. So if it's white face paint, and I use the unbranded, unsponsored like stick. And if not, I still like to use the stick for foundation, and then I'll try to do eyes next, and then contour, and then detail work like eyebrows, eyelashes, liquid liner if I'm doing that. And I often hate it right up until the point that I put a mustache on, because that's what makes it look like a drag look. And I've just completely botched this nose liner. But that's what makes it feel like drag. Once there's like a mustache on, otherwise I kind of just feel like I'm putting face paint on. And I'll be in my head like, I'm a fraud, I don't know what I'm doing, this isn't drag. And then all of a sudden the mustache goes on and I'm like, oh, I'm a very successful drag king. I can't believe anyone ever doubted. No one doubted me, it was just me.
It's normally so much of a rush. It is, yeah. I never seem to have much time. I'm getting in from work and I'm like, oh, I've got to be somewhere at 7 o'clock or something. And then, it's all kind of quite quick. But if I do have time, I do like to spend time. And sometimes, like today, I visited a makeup artist who I know he does really good makeup. So if I do have time and if it's for a special occasion, then I'll do that. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. The challenge was to get a look because I'm wearing two very, very different dresses. I had to get a look that went with both of them.
I'm not sure necessarily that I do. I might have done today because I felt that I'd got to iron my clothes first and hang them up so that they were then cooling down and then bathing and be nice and cool and calm and collected before I got dressed, really. It obviously wanted to be the last thing that I did before I came out of the house. There is a little bit. Yes, I like to be up and about early so that I can do everything in good time and stay relaxed. And
Depends what it's for. If it's for sort of burlesque, it's doing the hair, which takes forever. And then it's doing the layers and doing the makeup, making sure you've got the beauty spot, making sure you've got the diamantes on your eyes. And then it's the getting dressed, making sure everything's there. I have to have everything ready.
Yeah.
And it's just all about the colours. Again, the bright colours.
And is there a sort of period of time? How long does it take to?
About an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Takes about an hour for my hair.
Wow.
That takes the longest.
That's quite quick, isn't it, really?
Really, yeah. I think I've got used to it now. Yeah.
The process of getting ready for drag is a completely different story. I always repeat the cardinal sin of putting my clothes on before my makeup. And then I always have to clean my collar and the front of my shirt, regardless of what I'm wearing. I don't know. I like to be dressed in as much of the costume as possible before I do my face. I feel like it gives me purpose. And again, maybe it's that intention setting thing, that because once I know what I'm wearing, I know how I'm feeling, and then I feel more, I don't know, more empowered putting makeup on, because as a drag king, I'm not transforming myself in like a traditional makeup kind of way, or like a beauty makeup or a feminine makeup. So I think if I'm sitting there in like my ordinary shirt and jeans that I'm wearing now, and I'm suddenly putting loads of eyeliner on, there's something a little bit incongruous about that for me. That might be something that resolves over time, because of course, as you go through transition and then you're walking the world as, you know, your real self and in a better frame of mind, I feel like some of the things that bother me might not bother me in a few years' time. But for the moment, it's definitely, right, I've put my sparkles on, my costume is on, so now I know that it's time to put makeup on and get ready. So yeah, it's definitely a different process. And I always say that the difference between me and Mr Brakedown is the eyeliner, and if the eyeliner is not on, he's not there yet.
What's your item of clothing that you never wear but you could never part with?
My item of clothing that I never wear, that I could never part with, actually belongs to my father, who I lost just over 2 years ago now. So I didn't particularly want to take much from what was left of his clothing. I felt a lot of it was better to be donated, because as I say, my dad liked to be very well presented when he was out and about, something that I realise I've subconsciously picked up since transition. But what I have of his is a hat, just a little baseball hat that he bought in Greece many years ago, and it's featured on one of my favourite photographs of him. So I was looking at it and I thought, there's no way that I could let that go to anybody else. I think I have worn it once when it was absolutely pouring down on the boat, and it was the first hat I grabbed because I had to go outside to do some work. But generally speaking, it just hangs on a little hook in the galley of my narrowboat, and just a moment of my dad still being here and still looking after me, which is nice to remember, because my mom looks after me wonderfully, but my dad looked after us both very much. So yeah, it's nice to have that feeling that he's still cheering me on.
I mean, there are some things that I have stayed for best, and then as I've grown, like, you know, with the factory distribution, through my transition, I can't wear them anymore, but I don't want to part with them. Yeah.
Which is a bit silly. Maybe I should hand them over to, you know, someone else to wear, like my daughter, for instance. Like, she might want to wear them. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I think that ultimately, if we keep stuff for best and we don't wear it, but only on special occasions, then you might wear it once and then never wear it again. So it's a shame.
Absolutely. And do you have a most treasured item of clothing?
It's a really good question.
I mean, some items of clothing have meaning, like for different reasons. So I'm a Geordie, as you can probably tell by the accent. So I've got a blue hoodie that literally has a pride flag with a Newcastle United emblem on it. Sounds crap, but like, you know, that says that, you know, I'm proud to be a Geordie, and I'm also proud to be a queer Geordie. So my partner is a celebrant, and she had friends who were looking to do a styled photo shoot. So last year we did a styled photo shoot in North Wales in nature. It was beautiful, and I bought the dress off Pretty Little Thing, I think, or like some website. I can't remember which one, but like I'll never get rid of that, because that's linked to such a special day. I mean, everyone said, "Oh, massive congratulations!" It's like, it's a photo shoot. It's not real. But like, yeah. So that probably, and it's gonna sound strange, but so I had a handmade purple velvet waistcoat that was made when I got married to my ex-wife. I haven't parted with it, and I know that's something that links to my past, but like, I've always wanted to give it to my daughter, and yeah, I probably will now, because she's sitting in the room off camera. So like, I might give it to her when she goes home if she wants it. She doesn't have to have it though, but you know, I don't know why I've never parted with that, because something that's linked to my past.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Really weirdly, I've got a spangly poncho that I've had for 25 years. That's a really good thing, but I don't think I've got anything that's particularly stands out.
How often does the spangly poncho come out?
Not often enough, but when I was doing my beginning of the 2025 wardrobe audit, I said to myself, right, everything's got to earn its keep this year. It's either coming out of the wardrobe or it's going into the charity bag. I've just been wearing the spangly poncho for hanging around the house. You should absolutely do that.
Looking back at a lot of videos of me as a child, I'm like, wow, they had some really interesting. I think a lot of my baby clothes were from like Oshkosh, Bagosh. And looking back at the videos, I'm like, wow, I was really slaying age 3 to 5. Like, they had some incredible, like, very camp clothing that they put baby me in. I think I don't remember any specific ones, but there were a lot of like cute little corduroy moments and like little jackets, or, you know, like overalls and things like that, and colourful wellies. And I'm like, wow, you know, I'm glad I had those. I wish those were still an option for me now.
Yeah, I mean, I did have this vintage 60s mini dress, and I didn't want to have it, and I was like, it was when I was in a stage of, when I kind of hadn't really realised I was trans, but and I was kind of, I would go through phases going, oh, no, I'm not trans, and I'd often just get rid of clothes, because I was like, no, can't do this, and it was, and I really regret getting rid of that. It was lovely.
Oh. Yeah. I'd have liked to have had it. It was a beautiful, quite well styled knitted jacket, and it was really nice. It was better than a cardigan, and this is the point really. It was so useful and fulfilled so many different criteria, and I lost it.
Well, I'm sad to hear that. It's happened to me with a jumper, and I ended up putting it on a teddy. Which 3 words would you use to describe your style?
I think in cabaret, it's glitzy Vegas lounge.
Authentic. Daring. My daughter's just looking at me. Yeah, unabashed.
Oh, this is really hard. This was really hard, because I didn't know. I'd be interested in what other people would say. Probably like quirky, individual, and I don't know. I want to say fearless, but that's actually not really true. I don't think.
Butch, utilitarian pockets.
Amazing.
Oh, that's hard. Well, certainly colourful comes amongst them. It's hard otherwise, really. I suppose I quite like to be smart and sort of polished, I guess.
Colourful, cultural, and thoughtful is probably what I'd go with.
I would say over the top. That's all just 3 words, but I would just say over the top.
Yeah, that's brilliant. My 3 words are bright, colourful, and fun.
3 words to go. Gender is chaos.
3 words to describe my style is quirky, colourful, and weird.
I would describe my style as colourful, retro, and ever-changing.
Fearless, artistic, and sexy.
Elegant, classic, weird.
Casual, comfy, and hidden.
Light, laughter, love.